Ladies and gentlemen, we now know for sure, we knew yesterday, but double sure and triple sure, that the Honorable Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankhar, has quit. It's a shock exit. But is it a shock to both sides? The government is shocked, but is the opposition really shocked? Why did Jagdeep Dhankhar call the Congress party's Jairam Ramesh, which it is believed to have happened between 7:30 and 8 p.m.? Was there a call? Was there a call? The question is, was there a call? I'm not saying conclusively that there was a call, but some people have said there was a call. So was there a call? And why on earth, ladies and gentlemen, would the Vice President of India, being the first person to quit voluntarily, not due to circumstances of fighting a presidential election or otherwise, like V.V. Giri or the others before him, but quitting a job of Vice President of India, call a Congress leader for a phone conversation on the eve of his resignation? That also, a Congress leader called Jairam Ramesh, who once led a no-confidence motion against him, why was he the last person to receive a phone call from Jagdeep Dhankhar before he quit? What were Jairam Ramesh and Jagdeep Dhankhar confabulating about? Because I assume, ladies and gentlemen, that by 7:30, Jagdeep Dhankhar had made up his mind to quit. Now there are two possibilities. That Jagdeep Dhankhar was considering resignation and confabulated on the issue with Jairam Ramesh, or Jagdeep Dhankhar had not decided to resign but decided to do so after confabulating with Jairam Ramesh. These are likely and strong possibilities that we cannot deny, and neither can we be stopped from speculating, because this speculation will happen. I believe, frankly, this is not about health. It's been building up for a while. Jagdeep Dhankhar is an interesting person. He does balance politics. Did he go overboard in getting into a political space? Did he try to shock the government? Why, if he was quitting, was there no prior signed farewell note, no transition ceremony? Why was this an attempt to grab a headline? Why do I have a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, that what Jagdeep Dhankhar wanted to do was to grab a headline? Because he was upset over something. Or maybe, after being threatened with an impeachment motion by the Congress party, no confidence motion by the Congress party, did he go overboard in trying to placate the Congress party up to a point where he ended up upsetting the government? Is it true that while he was threatened with a no-confidence motion by the opposition, the government was also upset enough with him to possibly consider the same thing? So was he eventually caught between a political yo-yo, ladies and gentlemen, of his own making? You see, have no doubt about it, think logically. This is not the way to behave. And maybe my saying this will make sure that I am not the person to get an interview with Jagdeep Dhankhar. But I will say it. I don't care about those things anyway. The fact of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen. Did he go overboard in trying to make the Congress party happy to ensure that they don't try and throw him out of a job? Why did he criticize the agricultural policies of the government? The same government that appointed him, why did he make public statements criticizing the agricultural policy of the government and say that as the son of a farmer, he feels pained about the agricultural situation or the condition of farmers, unless he knew that by saying so, he would be doing a balancing act? And did he say this after? Why did he say this after earlier being threatened by the Congress party? Did the Congress party in that sense have a leverage on him? Did the government, and I'm asking, did the government tell him earlier, please pipe down, don't try to negotiate or be the indirect interlocutor between the government and the judiciary on issues like impeachment? These are matters for the law minister, duly elected of this government, duly elected government to handle. It is not the job of the vice president. In that sense, was he getting politically activist and politically ambitious? Ladies and gentlemen, how is it that the same opposition which tried to oust Dhankhar, who mocked him outside Parliament. And you remember that when they were mocking him outside Parliament, now they are calling him a man of conscience. They're urging Narendra Modi to reverse his resignation. In the end today, Jagdeep Dhankhar's resignation has left more questions than answers. First, the opposition moves to try and impeach him. Now the ruling party, was it planning to do the same? Did Dhankar resign to preempt the possibility of institutional humiliation because he could get impeached by the government that elected him? What was this sudden exit? Was it an attempt to send a message to the BJP leadership? Was it an attempt to try and build a greater role for himself because he realized that this government would not be making him president in 1.5 or 2 years? Was it an attempt at the age of 74 to stretch his political career? Ladies and gentlemen, fact of the matter is, why would Dhankar reach out to Jairam Ramesh, one of his harshest critics, before resigning? So, this is not just about health. The resignation of Jagdeep Dhankhar is not to do about health. It is to do with trying to send a political message. I'm not discounting health, but that's not the principal or only reason. That's where I stand on this. I also believe it is wrong of him, health or any reason, to quit like this. You do not quit in such a way. There is a due process through which you have been elected. If nothing else, even you must respect that process. If he had problems, he could have had a conversation with the president. The president could have asked him to have a conversation with the prime minister. There are ways in which things happen. You can't be egotistic, temperamental, or have this one-upmanship approach when you're holding a position of Vice President of India. That should not have applied to Hamid Ansari, and I'm a critic of Hamid Ansari. When he was Vice President, he did things which I don't agree with, and that should not apply to Jagdeep Dhankhar. So what Jagdeep Dhankhar did is absolutely wrong, ladies and gentlemen. This is not like a corporate job where you go through 10 promotions, and then when someone disagrees with you, if they disagree with you, then you put in your papers and refuse to even serve your notice period or hand over a transition. Even in corporate roles, the general manager of a private sector company would know better. I am surprised the Vice President of India didn't know the same.